crazy and exciting all at the same time. Now, I want you to look at this image. I'm going to zoom in on it. And I've got, I posted the setup over there. So basically, I got him about 4 to 5 feet from the background. Background's pretty tight. We don't have the background lit at all. But if you look, there is no green in him whatsoever. Now, white is notorious for having reflecting green. And you see, we can see some of the reflections of the lights from the gym. But if we look real close, especially in these areas, there's no green. There could possibly be a little faint there, but not enough that it's going to affect the extraction. Look at the shadow here. It's got nice warm tones in it. If we go down here and look at the legs and the socks, even right here, there's no green screen in there. So, and people are asking, where did I get the turf? Well, I called the coach. I got a big roll of turf that I could bring. But it's hard to, and we're coming from Tennessee, so it's 10 feet long, so it's I have to tie it onto the truck. Anyways, I asked the coach if they had some turf, and they did, and so we just used this, and you see it's pretty textured. But when on the easy green screen, this thing almost registers as a grayscale. Now, a lot of this green will be removed, and I could keep the green, and I'll show you how to do that also. But once the green is removed and I lay it over the background, in which I'll post another video showing where it's laid over the background and what it looks like, it will actually just kind of blend in with the texture. It'll add more texture to the turf and the background that we're going to add it to. Parents wanted full body shots this year, so we made sure that we did the legs. I don't want to deal with shadows and have to go through the extra step of putting shadows and making him look like he's not floating on the ground and, blending that into a digital background. So what we did is we just used turf because that's what he's going to be standing on. And that way we don't have to replace it. And you see it looks pretty good. And we'll post the other image tomorrow because we'll be traveling back this afternoon. And let me zoom in. There we go. And so anyways, I'm going to just crop some of this stuff out. It doesn't matter what I crop it. I'm just going to get rid of unessential stuff that I don't need. And I'll just do that. And got it cropped. So now, as far as the adjustments, I posted online last night that those images were straight out of the camera. No adjustments. As you can see, there's no adjustments here. I could get by with not doing anything on these images. My exposure was good for dark skin. And also you saw on the post with a very fair skin and blonde hair. The blonde hair was a little bit blown out in the sides where the kicker lights were hitting, but there's detail there. We could totally bring that back if we needed to. But it was a good compromise. So I could, from the darkest skin to the lightest skin, I had great exposures all the way through. And we got plenty of detail in the blacks. And so I'm really satisfied with the way this looks right out of the camera. And you want to get it right straight out of the camera because you don't want to spend all this time in post, especially when you're doing volume work. So anyways, but I can go ahead and adjust it. I'm going to bring down the exposure just a tad, maybe minus 20. Contrast, I'm going to take that to plus 11. It's going to block up the shadows a little bit more. Highlights, I'm going to bring down. And this is just for my own personal taste. Blacks, I'm going to bring that down minus 10. Okay, so look, I've got a lot of black, but here's my secret. I love opening up those shadows, especially with the kind of techniques that I use. So I'm going to take this shadow slider, and I'm going to bring it up and look at all that detail. I brought it up to about 84. But by bringing the exposure down just a little bit, I didn't affect the skin. I mainly affected all the dark areas, the black areas. But see, I got plenty of detail in there now. Now, instead of using Topaz or Lucius Art or, Tonal Contrast in Color Effects Pro or Nik software, I can just go ahead and add some clarity to these football images and just give it a little bit more pop. And I don't really have to go through and put that illustrative technique on there. On the posters, I would. If they're paying, the high dollar money for the posters where they get dirt and they get abs and they get a painted technique applied to their posters, which go from anywhere from $100 to $250 that we sell in our order form, we will put some tonal contrast over that to give it a more illustrated look, give it a little bit more gritty. And but we got some just fabulous designs this year, and I can't wait to get all these processed so I can share those with you. But anyways, I'm just going to go ahead and open this image. And let me close these little windows here. So here's basically what we got. So I'm going to go up here to my filter. And you see I got Easy Green Screen. Now I got Easy Green Screen 5 and Easy Green Screen 5 with dual mask. Now, dual mask, it doesn't lend itself to the batch software as well because it stops and you have to draw a circle around the hair. But if you're doing cheerleaders, you're not doing 60 people. So you're probably doing anywhere from 12 to 20 girls, depending on how many you have. Or if you're just doing the seniors, maybe anywhere from 6 to 12. So that's not that much to process. So I would go ahead and do the dual mask because it makes the hair, puts a separate mask on the hair and also makes it a lot more realistic, less green in the image. And if we have any green that's in the hair, like right here, let's just look at this. So let's zoom in on him. And also, we don't do any retouching. They have an option where they can buy retouching. It's like $15. But other than that, we don't do it. And so I know a lot of photographers, I want my images to look great, but you're not getting paid for that. And they're not paying for it. So you don't want to put those expectations out there that they get this stuff for free. So anyways, we got some pretty good hair texture through the edges right here. And if you look, there's a little bit of... We're going to pick up, if we look here, you see that little green where it's kind of translucent? That hair is translucent, so it's going to pick up that green, and that's going to show. There's going to be a little green tint, but I'm going to show you something real easy to fix that with if you like. And everybody has a different technique. Doesn't mean that my technique's the only one you need to use. Just look at all our techniques, all of us that do teaching, and see which one you like, and see how, and even the green screen software. There's a lot of people have good software out there, have good green screen actions. You can try those and see what you like best or what works better with your workflow. Anyways, but I'm gonna show you how to fix that real easy. But blonde hair is notorious for that. So and right on the edges. So here we go. We're going to move this. Let me zoom out here so we can get a full picture. And I'm going to go filter, and I'm going to go to Easy Green Screen. I'm going to hit that. And it's going to process through, and it's going to give me some options to adjust the mask. Boom, there we go. Now, you remember when I said that this, in my post, that this almost registers grayscale? It does. It leaves a lot. It takes the green away and just leaves the texture. So when I apply this over a image that already has turf, this kind of just blends in with it, and the value in the back will match this darker color here. So I got no problem with that. Or if I have a football field that has more perspective, I may go in and just hit the eraser here tool, boom, 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 real quick. But those are on images that are going to be higher end, that they're going to be, paying more money, getting posters and things of that nature. But let's look at this before we do any adjustments, okay? So I can't zoom in right now. Here we go. There we go. Now let's go up here and let's look at the edge. Now you see I got that green screen, and I don't have the best hair extraction up there because I didn't do the dual mask. But with this volume, you're not going to want to do it for 60 players. Most of the time, it's not going to matter with these guys because their hair's short. There's not a lot of flyaways or whatever. But we can go in and take away. We make some adjustments on the edge. You see that little halo, that black line around there? That will really show up in your images. So you do not want that. On the black, it doesn't matter. But you see, you have that little halo. And I have people contact me all the time, even just using Photoshop. They have that problem. But so let's go back to the main menu. All right, so let's pay attention to there. We're going to go here and click on, it's early in the morning, so I'm like, hard to talk. My settings. Now, contract mask, which is going to contract inward to take away this black line, is off. Now, it's going to give me an option. of up to 3 pixels here. Watch this. Boom, it's gone. 3 pixels took away all that little edge around there. All right, so now let's go back and let's zoom again. Let's zoom out. Let's see what we got. And we can zoom back in here. We got clean extraction around the helmet. We got some pretty good clean here. We got a little couple issues, but unless you're doing a high-end poster, they're never going to notice that when you drop it in. Okay, good. We got some good stuff. The hair could be a little bit better, but for this type of imagery, for volume, it's going to be perfect. And at the size that it's going to be, you're not even going to notice it. Now, let's look at this. Okay, so it contracted in. Now, we do have a little issue here, okay, with the hairy legs, and that's usually with the guys. And because we didn't use a dual mask, that would be an issue there. But I'll show you how to clean that up too as well. But remember, when you're doing volume, if you design your background to where this will blend in and you won't notice it, you won't have a problem with that, and you can just keep going on. So I'm going to go back to my main menu. Let me zoom out. I wish it'd let me zoom in that menu. Okay, so I'm going to hit that. I got it 3 pixels, so we're good there. Mask, I could feather mask from 0 to 2 pixels. I got 0.5, which is pretty good. Now, foreground recovery is when you do have green screen picked up in here, and our green in here, and you want to bring, and it made some holes in your image, you want to bring it back. But let's see what that does if we just bring it up. Maybe it'll bring back some of this green in the turf. Let's see, let's look at that. See, it did. It brought back quite a bit of that texture without affecting the rest of the image. So, because there was no green in the rest of the image. So we can come up here. Let's go to 100. Let's see what happens. All right, so most of that green is back now. So I could use that. Now, it's a little brown. And the reason it's brown is because it has a magenta color correction over the top of it. But we're going to leave it like that. All right, so let's go to back to main menu. Let's go to spill correction. Right now I can adjust my spill correction. I'm not going to at this point. But I can, if I needed to, I could adjust it to whatever I like. Spill color ranges from warms and cools, and you can adjust that. I'm not going to get too technical in that because this is just quick volume stuff. But let's go look at edge hair coloring. All right. The feature is only available in dual mask mode. So people ask me, well, I can't get that in regular mode. It's only available when you have a secondary mask, and that's the dual mask deal. And so again, I would use that for cheerleaders. I'm going to put a background color here. Click OK. And I'm just going to look at this. I can look at it and kind of see what I want to do. I don't want this background in here right now. When I do a batch, I will automatically drop a background into it through the batch process. Leave it in layers just in case I needed to make some adjustments. But this gray allows me to see all my edges and see that I got a pretty good clean cut. All right, so here I can, zoom, do whatever. I'm just going to go ahead and apply the image. So I applied it. All right, so now we're going to zoom in, and it looks pretty good. Actually, we don't have as much green through there as we did, but if we turn this little magenta mask off, you see the green right through the edges? I said this Easy Green software really is worth the money. It's like $169 just for the green screen removal. If you get the batch software or get the whole master collection, which I would recommend because all your upgrades for life are free. I think it's around $3.99 or something like that, but it's definitely worth the money. And let's look at the grass down here. Okay, so that green screen, that magenta filter really didn't affect him that much because there was no green in him. And I'm looking here, and there's a tinge of green right there with that mask off. Let's turn it on and see now it's gone. You see that magenta that's actually put in there? Look at his foot reflected in the helmet. Green, there. And see, you can't see that green just looking at it when the green screen's there. Only after you remove it can you see these little tinges. But it was so minimal that it did not affect the extraction. So let's go here. we could look at this. I mean, that's green, but turn it off. There's the green turf, right? Now, the only thing that bothers me about this is his legs. Now, not all the legs are like that. I would click on that mask, uh, and if you're going with volume again, and I usually make my backgrounds dark at the bottom, so you're really not going to come into play. But this one right now, it kind of bothers me a little bit, so I'm just going to come in here and take my eraser. Oh, and then actually my paintbrush, and just get about 50% hardness, and make sure I'm painting on the right with the right brush, and just clean that up just a little bit. Okay, and because I don't like that. All right, there we go. And clean that up. Now, again, you're thinking, no, this may take too much time. But it is. It's going to take too much time. But when you're doing volume, but I'm just showing everybody some options. Here, I might come in there and just soften that a little bit. You know, if I'm needed to blend it into a background. And don't worry about that foot. We got a mask on it. Let's hit that. Now I'm going to hit X, and make my brush a little harder, and come back and paint that sock back. Oh. And again, this right here is more if you're doing the posters and stuff, or you're doing a poster for their team and you're putting all these together, and you want to make it look really good. I'm going to come here, and I'm just going to blend that off a little bit. Okay. Now, so there we go. We got a good extraction. It's good and clean. And I could come over here and let's see if I can go to. Oh man, I wasn't prepared for a background right now because we're trying to get up here to go shoot. But let's go to our promo images. All right. And so here's some of the images that we have shot and developed, and you can see I got several different versions. Here's some of my extractions here. And you see here, I left the green there. All right, so come here. I'm just seeing if I got... Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go to my Mount Olympus backgrounds that I just unleashed. And we'll open up in here. Now, I wanted to show you one other thing about this before I merge this together. All right, so now I'll turn this off. Got that. We're going to turn the front rock off. Don't worry about this stuff down here. We're going to turn our player off. And there's our background there. And this is not the background we're going to use for the team pictures, but this is just for example. But we're going to click here. Now you see this, it's kind of brown, right? I can click on here too if I want to use that and really make it green. And come over here and just paint away. And there's my green back. I just paint that magenta filter away. Okay, now I'm going to come up here, cut my gray off. I'm going to go Shift, Option, Command E. That way I'll save this and leave this in layers in case I need to make it, adjustments later, or I sell another product and I need to do some other stuff. So I'm going to click here, look at that. I'm going to go on HS Copy, click back over here, and I'm doing this manually. I just want you to know that, and that's a big file. I didn't process that. They're really big. So I'm going to come here and just drop that in there. And again, it needs to, we'll have to put a color filter over it. I'll hit here, click color overlay. And I'm going to click this and click the gray here. Hit that. Okay. And that'll kind of help it take the tone of the, let's see, oh man, take it up to 100%. It'll help kind of take the tone of the background so it kind of grays it up a little bit. See, just a little bit. But that's it. That's without any work done. And if you look at the edges, we look pretty good all the way around. So I just wanted to show you that, and then I'll post another video of a batch process to show you how that works and how I programmed in my settings to be able to make it work. But again, back here, it's just kind of soft. I mean, we can turn this rock back on, and put that over him, and boom, there you go. You got a really cool poster. The object here was not to hide the feet. but in the package shots. But here, if you wanted to put this in a poster, bam, there you go. And this kid's going, wow, this is awesome. Okay, so now I'm going to save this. I'm going to go Shift Command Save and save this into my Heath football. I'm just going to save it loose in there. And baby, what's this kid's name? So I'm just going to delete this stuff, and I'm going to save this as a PNG. Shift Command Save.
Trey Barnett.
Okay, and is that T-R-A-E, Trey, B-A-R? Just one R? N-E-T-T? Okay, Trey Barnett. We're going to send this to him. We're going to save this as a PNG so they can drop it transparently into an ad. PNG, and we're going to save, and going to hit OK, and that's it. And so I just wanted to share that with you real quick, but here we go. Shift. We got to go because we got to run right now, but I'm going to go and see you later, and thank you very much.